In today's video, I'm gonna cover exactly what I've done in the last 7 months to go from this to this. What's going on, everybody? It's Ryan Johnson here with Intermittent Fasting with Ryan. I'm looking to ditch the yo-yo diets, lose weight, and help you do the same. If you're new here and interested in sustainable weight loss tips and strategies, please click subscribe now. Hey, so in today's video, I'm gonna answer the question that I get asked all the time, and that is, what have you done to lose the weight? And I'm gonna cover all of that in today's video. I'm gonna go over the habits that I built in order to lose the weight and continue to lose over these 7 months. And most importantly, stay on track and not feel mentally drained so that once I get to my goal weight, I'm not gonna fall away because I'm building sustainable long-term habits. Hey, so if you're new to the channel or don't know anything about me, I have been struggling with my weight my entire life. I have always been bigger. It's something that I have always struggled with. Ever since getting out of high school, I've done yo-yo diets for the last 15 to 16 years of my life. If you were to look at a chart of my weight, you would never see a period of consistency. I'm always either on the upswing or the downswing, and it usually looks something like this. I'm slowly going up, get to a high weight, I get fed up with my weight, I commit to a diet, I lose weight quickly, I maintain it for a few weeks, maybe a month, but then slowly it starts going back up again. And more times than not, I usually end up higher than when I started the diet in the first place. So I am sick and tired of the yo-yo diets, crash diets. So what I've been doing differently. So again, I've done yo-yo diets my entire life. I've done swings at 80 pounds before. I've gone from 180 as an adult all the way up to 260. I've gone back and forth a few times. I'm sick and tired of it. I need to build habits that are gonna help me lose the weight, but most importantly, habits that are gonna help me keep the weight off. So I've been doing intermittent fasting now for 7 months, and I still feel very strong and committed to what I'm doing. And that's because when I started intermittent fasting 7 months ago, I knew that this was going to be the last diet that I ever did. So I was going to commit and do something different than what I had done before. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So the thing that I was doing over and over again was I was committing to crash and fad diets. I was committing to them, staying strict on them, using all of my willpower to lose weight, but then falling away. So now that I'm a little older, one of the things that I know is building habits is more important than strict adherence. So it took me years of building bad habits to get to the weight that I was. And I know that it's gonna take me years of building good habits to get to my goal weight. But more importantly than getting to my goal weight is maintaining my goal weight. It's going to take habit building, not strict adherence. So for the first 3 weeks, the only thing that I did was fasting 16 hours a day. I committed to the 16-8 fasting principle, and the only thing that I did for the first 3 weeks was hit my fasting target of 16 hours. I didn't change anything, I didn't make any changes to my diet. I didn't start any crazy workout routines. The only thing that I did was focused on the one habit of fasting. Now, after 2 to 3 weeks, and I built that habit of fasting, the second habit that I started was tracking my calories. Weight loss is about being in a caloric deficit, but my goal wasn't to just start off with a caloric deficit, cut my calories and really hard and lose a lot of weight fast, because again, I've done that game before. I know how that plays out. I'll lose it, then I'll gain it back. After 2 to 3 weeks of doing nothing but fasting 16 hours a day, eating for 8 hours a day, no change to the diet, then I started building the habit of tracking my calories. I downloaded a calorie tracking app, MyFitnessPal, and I started tracking my calories day in and day out. So for about the next 2 weeks, the only habit that I focused on was the habit of tracking my calories. I still had not made any changes to my diet. I was just focused on building the habit of tracking my calories. Also, at about the 3-week mark is when I added exercise into my routine. It started off very light. 3 to 4 days a week, I would do walks in the park. I would do some body weight exercises, push-ups, squats, things like that. But nothing too intense. At that point, we were still in COVID lockdown, so the gyms weren't open. So I was doing just some at-home workouts, some stuff, watching some videos on YouTube and doing some body weight type workouts. Nothing too intense. After I had done that, at about the 5-week mark into my journey, now I had lost a little bit of weight at this point, just due to the sheer fact of fasting will do that. About the 5-week mark is when I decided to start hitting a calorie target. So I picked 2,400 calories, and I committed to the 2,400 calories a day. Still no changes to my diet, eating the same kind of foods that I had before for the last probably about 24 weeks. Everything has looked pretty similar to me. I wouldn't say that I have even built any new habits in the last 4 months. I have just been sticking with the 3 habits of fasting, tracking my calories, and getting exercise in. I'm working out 2 to 3 days a week, and here a few months ago, our COVID restrictions were lifted, so that's when I started getting into the gym, doing some bodybuilding type workouts, doing a lot of weightlifting and resistance training. I'm not doing any cardio. I'm not a big fan of cardio. At some point, if I stall or want to lose more weight, I may try to focus on building the habit of cardio into my routine. But at this point, I lift weights 2 to 3 days a week, and that doesn't take any willpower, just because it's something that I enjoy doing. And I would encourage you to find an exercise that you enjoy doing, because you don't want to use all your willpower to force yourself to do an exercise that you think is best, just to lose weight, because you're going to fall away from it eventually. So I've been eating 2,400 to 2,600 calories a day, and no changes to my diet yet. At some point as I get closer to my goal weight, I've set a target of myself of about 190 pounds. I'm still about 20 pounds away from that. As I get closer to my goal weight and the weight isn't coming off through fasting alone, at some point I may change my diet. But at this point, in 7 months, I haven't really changed my diet. I'm eating fast food 1 to 2 days a week. I eat pizza every Friday night. I eat fried chicken tenders multiple times throughout the week. No real changes to my diet, but I am hitting my calorie targets of 2,400 to 2,600 calories. I would also say that in the last 4 months, I've probably had 20 days where I've eaten 4,000 plus calories in a day. And I'll leave a link in the description below talking about how I fit cheat days specifically into my intermittent fasting routine. But it basically goes like this. On a day that I eat 4,000 calories, I'll use intermittent fasting to my advantage, and I'll do like a 22 to 23 hour fast following a cheat day, and then only eat 1,500 calories the next day. I still feel satiated because that 1,500 calories is usually coming from a single meal, and it's not that hard to do a 23-hour fast after I've had a 4,000 calorie day, because usually at that point I'm so sick of food. And that has helped me mentally stay focused, because it's all about balance. So if you're just getting started, the thing that I would recommend is for the next 2 to 3 weeks, you do nothing but fast. Pick a fasting protocol. I recommend the 16-8. It's a great place to start. You can get into more advanced stuff later on. I'll leave a link in the description below talking about the 16-8 versus the OMAD, or the 1 meal a day, and how you can use both. But just start with the 16-8. Fast 16 hours a day, eat for 8, and do nothing else. Make no changes to your diet. Don't start a new exercise workout routine. Just build the habit of fasting. After you've done that for 2 to 3 weeks, the next thing I recommend is that you download a calorie tracking app. Again, I recommend MyFitnessPal. I'm on there. My username is IF with Ryan. If you send me a friend request, you can see everything that I'm eating on there, so please feel free to do so. Again, I'll leave a link in the description below, but I recommend MyFitnessPal. At the 3-week mark, after you have the habit of fasting, download that calorie tracker and just start tracking your calories, everything you eat. No changes to your diet yet. Don't change how much you're eating. Don't change what you're eating. Just build the habit of tracking your calories. That's going to be important because in order to lose weight, you do need to be in a deficit, but we're not trying to lose all the weight now. We're trying to lose it forever, which means it's going to take a little longer, but we need to build strong habits. So at about the 5-week mark is when I want you to pick a calorie target and start hitting that. Listen, this is a marathon, not a sprint. It's going to take longer to lose weight if you want to do it right. But if you want to ditch the yo-yo diets, I encourage you to focus on building habits, not strict adherence to a crash or fad diet, to include intermittent fasting. Even in the intermittent fasting community, there's a lot of people out there that will tell you, there's a lot of things that you can do to do it perfectly, but I'm not looking to do it perfectly, and I don't want you to either. I just want you to get started, because if you look to do it perfectly, you're going to use all of your willpower and you're going to fall away. Listen, if I told you that you could lose a half a pound to a pound a week over the next year to 2 years, and it took you 2 years to reach your goal weight, but at the end of that time, if you would keep the weight off for the rest of your life, or you could follow a crash fad diet, whether you want to call it that or not, if you're looking to lose 50 to 75 pounds in 3 months, that's a crash diet. If I told you you were gonna lose 50 to 75 pounds in the next 3 months, but 2 years from now, you had a 90% chance of gaining all that weight back, what would you do? Would you take a year or 2 to get to your goal weight and keep it off forever? Or would you lose all the weight fast, be at your goal weight for a few months, and then a year from now be right back where you are? Hey, listen, I've been there before. It's terrible. I hate it. And that's why I'm doing something different. So if you're enjoying this, again, please be sure to subscribe, leave a like. Also, leave a comment below. Let me know what kind of diets you have done in the past that haven't worked for you. I know for me personally, I've done the bodybuilding 6 meals a day, eating 1,800 calories. I've done If It Fits Your Macros, where I track my macronutrients to hit my protein, fats, and carbs. I've done Weight Watchers before. I've done low carb, and I've had success on all of those programs for about a month. I'll lose weight over the course of 3 months, and I'll be there for a month, but I put it all back on. So let me know in the comments below what diets you have done in the past, and then leave a comment and let me know that you're gonna commit to taking your time, building one habit at a time, and losing the weight forever. Hey, so I'm gonna leave some videos on the screen for you now. I encourage you to go and check those out. Again, this is going to be a marathon, it's not a sprint, but I look forward to seeing you at the finish line as you come along with me. Thanks.